what's going on, y'all? T-Bob here.
And Jake as well.
And you're about to watch a little OTB LSU.
We're going to give you all the latest, greatest between LSU football, baseball, women's basketball, softball, and everything in between.
Bottom line, if you want to talk Tigers, keep it locked, subscribe, like it, and we hope you enjoy
We also got to cover the LSU guys that went in the draft. Now, it's a different LSU draft than we're used to, and we were talking about it during the break. Like, a lot of times you got, first rounders, like plural, like more than one. You didn't have that this year. That's a good thing because that means that you bring a lot of your talent back off a team that won the SEC West. But a little bit different here. Surprised some guys didn't get drafted, so we'll kind of update you on that as well. But let's talk about the guys now from LSU and some other guys from the state that did get selected. We mentioned B.J. Ojulari. He does go in the second round to Arizona. Actually really like that fit. I think B.J. is going to play right away there in Arizona. And he was the pick. I think he went 41st overall. So congratulations to B.J. Ojulari, my guy, member of the 18 Club, outstanding young man, and just can't wait to watch that guy in his NFL career. We mentioned Tyjae Spears from Tulane. He goes in the third round to the Tennessee Titans. Dorian Williams, another talented Tulane linebacker. He goes in the third round to Buffalo. Sideline to sideline guy. He was impressive at the Senior Bowl as well with Tyjae Spears, so congratulations to him as well. Anthony Bradford from LSU. Now, it's funny, like Anthony Bradford, massive human being, and actually got better each and every year he was at LSU. If I would have told anyone that Anthony Bradford wouldn't have been selected over like Kayshon Boutte, who went in the sixth round, we'll get to that, a year and a half ago, what would y'all have told me? Would y'all have told me to kindly leave, put it down? What are you doing? I mean, that to me, kind of shows how much Anthony Bradford got better and where Kayshon kind of fell back to.
Yeah, no, I agree with you because not only did everyone think that Kayshon was a first-round lock, people were kind of iffy on Anthony Bradford, like being a starter at LSU.
Right,
like
last year.
Like, his 2021, he was a little shaky on the O-line, but yeah, he had a great 2022.
Pretty sure Anthony Bradford had a higher vertical jump at the combine than
he
Boutte
did by 2 inches than Kayshon.
Just wanted to add that.
That's how you go in the sixth round.
Shout out, Bradford.
Did he really?
Yeah.
He did. He had like a Kayshon had like a 28. Bradford had like a 30, 31.
I think I might even jumped as high as Kayshon, which that's not good. But we'll get to Kayshon in the pick and the fit there. So Anthony Bradford does go in the fourth round. Shout out to Darius Davis from Westphal. Now played at TCU, went out of the state for college, but he goes in the fourth round to the Chargers. I had a chance to cover him. Now my brother, full disclosure, coaches at Westphal, or did coach at Westphal. Got to know him a little bit. Great young man. Covered him at the Fiesta Bowl and the National Championship game. So shout out to Darius Davis. Jay Ward also goes in the fourth round. Feels like a really good spot for Jay Ward to go. Now, Jay Ward played in the Senior Bowl, showed his versatility, corner safety, can kind of give you a little bit of everything. Played nickel as well in his LSU career, and I think that's probably why you see him go in the fourth rounds because he kind of played all over the place. Didn't really matter. Came to LSU as a corner. We saw him in that Florida game in the fog and the big play he had there. Finishes his career as a safety and, again, has played in the nickel before. So that is a big spot for Jay Ward. Like him going to Minnesota as well. Gets reunited, obviously, with his former defensive coordinator at LSU. All right, also to Minnesota. Not too much longer after Jay Ward goes, Jaquelin Roy, right? Local guy from U High. Goes to LSU, has a great career, comes out early, and that's always, a decision that you have to make. And I thought Jaquelin Roy, when he declared, would go in the top 3 rounds. And you never know what happens in the draft process, but it doesn't matter where you go. And I know it's an old cliche, but it really doesn't. It just, unless you're like a first rounder and the GM's trying to force you into the lineup, it doesn't really matter where you go. And so that is a player that I can see going to Minnesota, getting into the practice field, and then shining, because during camp, where you were selected gets hit, reset. It does. It just does. I've seen undrafted free agents make like 4 or 5 plays in training camp, like Mike Tolbert, one of my former teammates with the Chargers, right? He was undrafted out of Coastal Carolina. It was a program that just started like 3 or 4 years before he got to San Diego. He makes a couple of really nice runs in training camp, makes a couple of nice runs in the preseason, and Mike Tolbert plays 10 years in the NFL. C.J. Anderson, Denver Broncos, same thing. Undrafted, out of Cal, makes 3 or 4 runs. Didn't even play in the preseason. Got hurt before we got to preseason games. but made 3 or 4 runs in one-on-one scrimmages with the backups. It was 2s on 2s. Gets signed because of the runs he made in practice. So all you got to do is go in there, impress. They don't care where you're drafted. They just want to see, can you make plays? All right, continuing on, Kayshon, who we talked about, Kayshon Boutte goes in the 6th round to New England. This feels like, okay, you're going to New England. We know what the situation is there. It's the Patriot way, right? It's going to go one or two ways. They don't wait on you there in New England. But if there was a spot where Kayshon can come in, everything kind of gets forgotten about, and you go out there and you play because you're playing the Patriot way, and it's a real thing. We've talked to Flynn about it. We've talked to all these guys that played for the Patriots. Bobby Carpenter played for the Patriots. We can ask him about that in about 30 minutes from now. I think where he's going, like the destination, the team, is probably the best fit for Kayshon.
Yeah, you would think. I mean, kind of a sketchy ending to his career, LSU, and I've seen the Patriots take a few guys that were really explosive in college, and it didn't really translate to the league, so a little concern there. But considering where he was going to go, like as high, possibly a bad team, I think it's a decent spot for him going to New England.
No, it is. Me and Mario were talking about it before the show. I was like, he doesn't really have a lot of competition in terms of returning receivers. I mean, Jacoby Myers was their only guy. He's gone. I mean, who else is left there? Mac Jones has to have somebody to throw to.
If Kayshon gets into the right offense and the right situation, they put him in the right spot, he can be a player that can shine, right? He's not what you would think a number 1 receiver would be. You don't put him on the outside. He's not a burner. That's just not who he is. He's a guy that you can put into the slot. He's really good at run after catch. He's going to be a high 4.5, low 4.6 guy every day of his career. That's just who he is. But you can have a role. And New England has kind of showed that you can have a role in that position before, but he's got to make sure that you're doing everything the right way, because we've heard too many stories. If you don't, in New England, certainly as a 6th-round pick, you will not last very long, but I do think it is a great spot for Kayshon. All right, Trey Palmer, former LSU receiver, Kentwood Kangaroo, transfers to Nebraska. He also gets selected in the 6th round by Tampa Bay. Jarek Bernard-Converse from LSU, Shreveport, went to Evangel Christian. Shout out, 3-1 great. He goes to the New York Jets in the 6th round, and that's where your LSU Tigers end up in the NFL draft.
Wow, Jake, what incredible takes.
I mean, those guys, they're just the best.
I think so. And if you think so, again, hit the like button, subscribe, ring the bell so you get notifications when we post every single day here on OTB LSU.